house.
We bought a mountain!
So let's rewind a little bit. How did we get here? Well, as you guys know, we love our home. We've been living there a couple of years. The only thing we don't like is it's only a 3-bedroom home.
Yeah, and he wants a baseball team, so that's not gonna cut it.
Yeah, so if we want another kid, there's not much we can do. If you want to come stay at our house, you can't. We don't have a bedroom for you. And the other thing is too, if we're gonna move, we want to have a significant upgrade. It doesn't want to just be this little move because it's not really worth it. So as you guys know, I've got searches set up all across Las Vegas, just trying to find really good fixer-uppers that we could potentially move into. But for the past year of having that search, I've realized what I want doesn't exist. So for us to move, it needed to have a view, needed to have a lot of land, had to be in an area we wanted, needed to be the right style, needed to have a floor plan we liked. And if you can kind of catch my drift, that doesn't really exist. The only way to get that is by building yourself. But here's the problem. Most new builds don't have that kind of land that we're looking for. So as you can see right here from the mountain, we have views of Dragon Ridge Golf Course, which is where MacDonald Highlands is, and right behind it is Ascaya. They are the two premier communities in Las Vegas, Henderson area. And they have the best views in the city. But the big problem over there is they're only on half an acre lot, which we want to get much bigger if we were going to move. And they want $3 million minimum for those homes. If you guys saw my other video about the most expensive homes sold in Las Vegas, it was actually in that community for $11 million. And I don't, we're doing well, but not $11 million well. So we figured we're gonna have to just find something else outside of those communities to get what we want. The last big part of what we wanted was if we were gonna spend millions of dollars and build our true forever home, we didn't really want neighbors. A lot of these homes on MacDonald Highlands and Ascaya are multi-million-dollar homes, but you're still stacked up against each other on neighbors. And I actually forgot to mention the most important part of me buying any piece of real estate is I want to get a great deal on it. I want all of those things and a great deal. So I can just tell you, I wasn't super optimistic that it was gonna happen anytime soon. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna happen this soon. But he did underestimate his skills because he made it happen really fast.
And I can't wait to tell you guys how crazy of a deal this really was. So this is easily my best deal ever. And I've had a lot of good deals in my career. Some of you guys have seen my 10-unit apartment complex that I bought for $16,000 down. And that was a really good deal, don't get me wrong. But I think this has the potential to be an even greater deal. So here's how it all went down. I teach a lot of people to first start off getting deals on the MLS. And we do that through setting up auto searches. And so for me, when I was looking to get a piece of land for us that we just talked about, I set up auto searches for my criteria. And ironically, one popped up that I thought was really nice, and it's right here. So this was the first piece of land that I saw on the market, MLS. So they wanted $700,000 or $750,000 for it. I can't really remember. And it's about an acre big. And if you look, the strip view is amazing right from here. And this is exactly what I was looking for. It's a bigger piece of land that we have. It's got the strip view. It was great. So I called up the agent and I said, hey, tell me about this land, what's going on with it, any offers, all that type of stuff. So he ends up telling me the whole story about this entire community. There's 14 parcels and the owner has been trying to sell all of them together for a couple of years. He originally wanted around $10 million for everything, but he couldn't find somebody to buy it. So now this year was the first time they tried to sell them off individually. And let me tell you, for $700,000, this is actually a really good deal. If you tried to get an acre in MacDonald Highlands or Ascaya, like this with this strip view, you're probably paying $1.5 million for the land. And so even though almost everything is the exact same as far as view, because it's not in the golf course, it's half the price. So I was super interested because I'm value oriented. I don't care about being in the golf course. That's not a big deal to me. But when I called the agent, he also said the rest of the parcels are for sale. So if you like one of the other ones better, we can give you a price on that. We can give you a deal on that. Even though they're not on the market, they're definitely for sale. So I ended up bringing Mindy out here because she was so excited about it. And I said, tell me what land you think is best. Should we get one of these ones over here? They don't have any neighbors or anything. What do you think about this one? This is the one they're selling on the market. And she goes, no, Ryan, I want that one. I want the mountain. I was like, I don't blame you. That mountain is sick. And so we started to look it up, and he wanted $700,000 for the front of the mountain right here. And so as you can see, the front, this parcel right here goes from that power box all the way up to the front half of the mountain. So it'd be pretty much all of this. You'd have an amazing strip view. But that wasn't enough for her. She said, why are we gonna really sell ourselves short? We might as well go get the whole mountain. And let me just say, I would have been totally fine with the front half because it's over an acre. An acre with a view and on a mountain is plenty good for me. And she was wise enough to say, if this is gonna be our forever home, we might as well do it big. And we all know, if you buy multiple pieces, you should get a better deal as a package. So we ended up looking at the back half of the mountain. So the back half of the mountain was the least valuable piece because it doesn't have a strip view, it's smaller, it's only half an acre, and it doesn't have a lot of usable space to build on because my piece would be in the front half and you can't really go all the way to the top. You could really only build kind of at the bottom of it. And so it was one of those things, if we end up buying this piece and combining them together, the sum of them would be even greater. Because now we would have the whole entire mountain, we would not have a neighbor, we'd be overlooking everything, and it would actually do the seller a favor because their least valuable piece of land right here actually adds a ton of value to us if we get the front half by having the whole mountain. And I'm actually surprised they never tried to consolidate them together because it makes the most sense, but that's their loss. So individually, they wanted $300,000 for this back half. On the front half, they wanted $700,000. So all in all, if I was to pay what they were asking, it would have been $1 million for this whole mountaintop, which comes out to about 2 acres. Now, at $1 million for 2 acres with an unobstructed strip view, with golf course view, with no neighbors, all the utilities and stuff are already here. The road's already paved, as you guys can see. And just to give you an idea of how big this land really is, you saw us when we started on the other side of this, like it was big. We are now at the end at this other power box and it goes all the way up. This whole mountain is ours. And you can see Mindy up there dancing right now. It's insane that we were able to lock this deal up. This piece of land should have probably cost $2 million. And I'm not kidding you. But if you know me, that ain't good enough. I'm not paying $1 million if that's what they're asking. We're gonna at least make a crazy offer and see what happens. And so I feel kind of embarrassed admitting this on camera, but this is just kind of what I do. I have no shame in making a low offer. Our first offer for the 2 pieces of land was $400,000. And so if you've seen any of my videos and you're still embarrassed to make an offer, you shouldn't be, because that was an embarrassing offer to make. And unsurprisingly, the seller did not even counter us, which I kind of expected, but we remained in dialogue. A week later, I ended up offering him $500,000 for it, and that started to get the ball rolling a little bit. He countered me at $750,000 for both pieces, which, as you guys can see, I got $250,000 off right from the get-go on these pieces of land. But I knew that not many people were interested at the time of buying land, and so I wasn't in a rush to just take that offer. I ended up countering him at $550,000, and he came back up at $700,000. Even though we were somewhat far apart, I asked the listing agent if I could talk to the seller personally and see what we could do to get a deal together. And so all 3 of us got on the phone, and I explained to the seller that, look, I am not paying you market value for your property, and I don't intend to. But here's what I do intend to do. If you allow me to buy this property at a significant discount, I can promise you that I'm going to build quick. I'm gonna build something super epic. I'm gonna be detailing it and talking about it on YouTube and social media, and you're gonna get attention to all the rest of the parcels. And if you give me a discount on this, it'll essentially be a loss leader for all the other ones. If they start seeing action on this mountain, they're gonna be like, what's going on with the rest of these? And it's gonna drive people to wanna buy property here. And so even though you might be sacrificing a few $100,000 here, you can make it up very easily selling this piece for 100,000 more, that piece for 50,000 more, that piece for 100 more. You'll make it back very easily. It's actually the same technique that builders use in all of their new communities. The first homes they sell in the community are always cheaper, and they progressively get more expensive as the build goes on. And so he understood that. He ended up making a counter offer at $650,000. We ended up doing some back and forth, and eventually we settled on $620,000 for that mountain, which, if you haven't realized by now, I think it's a tremendous deal. So we ended up signing the contract, and I actually ended up getting a land loan on this deal. So I put 30% down, which was around $200,000, and financed the rest of that. And what's gonna happen is once we start to build, that land loan will convert to a construction loan. So obviously I'm super happy with the deal. Let's go back up top with Mindy and show you guys what we plan to do with it. Let's talk about what we're gonna actually do with this massive amount of land. So we have not hired an architect yet or designers or anything. So if you're interested in potentially joining us on this project, you can shoot me an email. I'll link to my email below. But I don't really have a say in what we're actually gonna be doing. So what do you wanna do with it?
You have a say, babe, okay, but not much. So I think we just really want to create something that Vegas has never seen before. And because we have so much land, our wish list is growing and growing. But we're thinking like an 8,000 square foot house, roughly. We want to build a guest house. Ryan wants a full court indoor basketball court.
It's got to be indoor.
We want a tennis court, and honestly my main requirement is a ton of grass because you don't see it in Vegas.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to talk to a landscape architect because there is so much land on what's possible, and you know, once we grade this mountain out, like what is gonna actually be usable. But what we're really thinking about is the front of the house facing this way. So you would drive up from this side and your driveway and everything would be over here, front's over here, and so you could look out that way from the front to Dragon Ridge Golf Course. I think that'll be really cool. And you kind of have to do it that way anyway, because when you have the main house kind of right where we're standing, you want to be looking out to the strip with everything. So right here would be where the pool is. Now obviously there's not a lot of backyard right here. A lot of like the sport courts and stuff we're talking about will be down that way where it's more land and it's more flat. But this would be epic for just having the pool, having the barbecue, just like that indoor outdoor living area. And you can't beat it.
It's gonna be kind of a challenge to utilize the land and get a big pad, but also keep the height and be able to see the strip.
Right. So what we're kind of thinking over here would be our own like park area. I think it would be so sweet to just have this big grass area that Mindy's talking about and be able to host events on it. You know, maybe there'll be like a wedding ceremony or something on it, I don't know.
Maybe.
But it just overlooks everything. You could play there. We definitely will not let our dogs there and ruin it, but it'll be a nice park type deal. And I don't know if you'd call this the peak of the mountain, because the peak's usually like the highest point, right?
Yeah.
But whatever this is, just this peak that overlooks everything with no obstructions. So for the last piece of this, remember how I was telling you guys early on, we have the land all the way to the power box. Like, it's so much land. So that's where we want to put like the indoor basketball court, the tennis court, any kind of kids play areas. I'm not sure where we're gonna put the guest house yet. We'll have to talk to the architect, but it could possibly be down that way and they can kind of enter from that street.
Yeah, they'll have their own separate gate and driveway.
So hopefully we could put it down there so there's a little bit of separation because her parents are gonna live there, and you know, you kind of want to have a little bit of privacy. So many of you might be wondering what it's gonna cost to build this thing. I don't really wanna know, I'm kind of scared, but initially, my goal was to be all into the project at $3 million. That's including the land cost, everything. She's shaking her head.
It's not gonna happen. I know what his wish list is, and it's not $3 million.
Well, you know, we're gonna try our best. You know, I thought that getting this land was impossible at the price I did, so I'm gonna try my very best. Maybe we'll get some hookups and stuff by, you know, advertising the house and the build and everything. So if you have materials in your supplier, like I said, you're an architect, you're any of these things, and you wanna get involved with the project, hey, maybe you do it at a discount and help me hit my goal. But anyways, regardless of whether we hit the 3 million goal or not, no more than 4. It will not be more than 4. I think that this house will be worth $7 million plus at least. And some of you might be saying, well, how do you know that? Well, I know what those ones are all selling for. And even though they may be in the golf course, literally none of them are 2 acres with this kind of view. You saw my video about the house that sold for $11 million. It's an amazing house, but it does not have a lot of the things that this house will have. So it's gonna be a great win no matter what. We're gonna build millions in equity by building this house, and we're gonna get everything we want, and it's gonna be our forever home. So I'm super excited about it. The last part that we're gonna be doing is, since we are going to be the first ones to build, I'm gonna start an HOA for the community. We're gonna put a gate, we're gonna put all that stuff, and you guys can start calling me El Presidente because I'm gonna be the president of the HOA. So if you're as excited as I am about this project, you probably wanna see how it unfolds. And that's the part I have not decided on yet. We're definitely gonna film everything. We're gonna film meeting with architects, all the ground up building, everything that goes along with the build. And my goal is to create a documentary style series. So we might film 10 videos for it and release them all at once on YouTube, or we might sell them to Netflix or TV show or whatever. I'm not sure how it's gonna play out. And who knows, maybe the documentary will end up paying for the home. I can promise you that all the content it brings will definitely subsidize it somewhat. So if any of you guys have a Netflix hookup or a TV hookup or anybody that might be interested in this, definitely shoot me an email. As far as how long this is gonna take, I hope it's only 2 years. I'm told that we could get through planning and permits and grading and all that stuff in a year and then spend another year building it. But if I know construction, I know real estate, it's probably gonna be a lot longer than that. But we're gonna do everything we can to get it done as fast as possible, but also not rush it. We wanna make sure we get exactly what we want. And speaking of time frame, some people have joked with me that we're probably gonna end up flipping it because there's gonna be so much equity built into it. But I can tell you, after going through this process for 2 or 3 years, I'm definitely not gonna wanna flip it. And where else am I gonna find this exact piece of land that fits everything we want? So don't worry about me flipping it, I'm not. But anyways, I really appreciate you guys for watching this. YouTube has been a huge reason why I'm able to buy this land. It's led to so many different opportunities and so many things that I would have never imagined happen. And if you enjoyed this video, do me a big favor and go hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed yet, definitely go hit the subscribe button. We're gonna be creating epic content all year long, and you don't wanna miss out on that. And if you're not following me on TikTok or Instagram yet, definitely go check out those channels as well. And I appreciate you guys for watching. Till next time, peace.